I wanted to thank Westlake's Financial Services. I wanted to thank what I would call my team, the real in real estate, because the people who I like to pattern myself with and team up with, they are awesome, authentic people. And in the world of real estate, you want to be surrounded with real people who have your best interests at heart. And so I just wanted to say thank you. To our guests, owning real estate is building wealth. I have been at Keller Williams for about 5 years. I'm at Keller Williams Legacy because it's my goal to help you leave a legacy, because we all gonna leave here one day. And my I like partnering with Westlakes because they work in the community. They're trying to change our community. And home ownership is like I said, it's the beginning of wealth. I want to thank Antonio. He treats my customers good when I send him out to his communities. And Heather's company, they do deep invest inspections of your homes. And Yvette, she has helped me with one of my customers, and I just wish my customer would have followed her directions, and things would have turned out a lot different. So I just wanted to tell you all about myself. I think it's very important to know what you're getting into when you start buying a house. And one thing is, you got to partner with someone with integrity and ethics. That's most important. And you have to make sure that you can work with that person. So that's why you have to have a buyer's consultation. You have to go meet them and talk to them to see if you're a good fit. You know, some people like to see houses every day. Some people like to plan a tour. And you have to see if that realtor schedule fits what you want to do. And that's how it starts. And I want to know, if are there any questions about how to pick a realtor, where you go? Do you just go to the phone book? Do you look at posts from Facebook to choose your realtor? Well, that's just one of my questions, but I want to thank Yvette, and I just want to thank everybody. So it's 6 steps that you really need to take when you're purchasing home. One of them is partner with a realtor. When the second one is get pre-approved, because we do not like taking you out to show you houses and you haven't been pre-approved. You don't know your loan amount. I've seen it on several times where we're waiting on this pre-approval to come, and you got to see this house. But when you get there, somebody else is viewing the house. That person is pre-approved. You got to wait on yours. The other person is 9 times out of 10 is going to get that house. We want to help you find your new home. Orlando has really grown. It's just really expanded. So we want to help you find that home. And one of the most important things to know right now is the best time to purchase a home with interest rates so low. This is the time to purchase. And when there are 2 decisions. You can buy new construction homes, or you can buy a resale home. But the most important about that home is to have that home inspected. Once you find the house, once you get your pre-approval, you find your house, one of the next things you got to do is write the contract. Once you're under contract, you can't go out buying different things. Don't buy anything. Just listen to your loan officer, and just wait until the underwriting has occurred. And there are different things that's going to happen. You're going to have an appraisal, inspection, but before you close, you got to make sure all the contingencies have been taken care of this house, and it's just a lot to it, and I just gave you the base of it. I thought that Sherika would be on here by now to talk about the loan, but we can go to Mr. Antonio when we send the customer out to you. This audio is off.
Unmute yourself, Antonio.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Hello, everybody. My name's Antonio Jackson. I work with one of the home builders here in Central Florida, Ashton Woods. We also have a division called Starlight Homes. So what I wanted to do is just kind of briefly touch on the whole home buying process and piggyback off of what Ms. Kay was saying. When it comes down to you purchasing your home, one of the things that you want to make sure that you do is one of the key, I guess, let's say a couple of the key things that are important is making sure that your debt to income is together. Make sure your credit score is together, and also make sure that you've saved some money for your down payment and whatnot. First, I'll touch on the home buying process. The home buying process can be daunting, so that's why it's important that you also make sure you get a realtor that you can trust. And Ms. Kay has definitely exemplified that time and time again by making sure that her clients are taken care of. So once you have found the right realtor, such as Ms. Kay, to make sure that they represent you well, then you want to narrow down the area that you want to be located in. In real estate, it's all about location. Sometimes we can't afford to be in certain locations, but we may need to live on the outskirts of Orlando until we get ourselves in a position that allows us to be able to live in the Orlando area or whatever area that we desire. So it's one of those situations where you have to kind of crawl before you walk. You can't just, well, not you can't, but sometimes you have to crawl before you walk. So that whole process also applies to when it comes down to you purchasing a home. So with that, what you have to do is understand, okay, hey, I know that I want to look for a home, so I need to start making sure that I have my ducks in a row. So with that, what that consists of is, hey, one, I need to make sure that I'm saving my money, and I need to cut out any excess spending, because what's more important right now is me investing in myself and my family and putting myself and my family in a home, something that's going to give me a return on my investment. One of the things that I always tell my families when they come in to see me at my community is that when you rent, it's 100% loss. 100% loss. So I just want you to digest that. So if you're spending, let's just be conservative, right? And let's just say we're spending $1,300 a month just in rent alone, right? That's almost $16,000 a year. Almost $16,000 a year. And let's just say you've been doing it for 5 years. You calculate it, that's $78,000 that you have thrown away. That's 100% loss. Now, if you're a homeowner, let's say you say, hey, you know what? I'm tired of throwing my money away. I want to invest in myself. Now you take that same money that you're using to throw away into renting and put it into being a homeowner. Now you start reaping the fruits of your labor, because now you have tax benefits. Now you have an opportunity to say, hey, you know what? I'm gaining equity. So let me give you an example when I talk about equity. I worked in a community on the outskirts of Claremont in a small town called Mascot. Now this area, I called it West Claremont, but I was there for 2 years. The smallest home that we had was about 1,600 square feet. And when I first moved to the community, we were selling them at $197,000. 2 years later, I sold out the community. That same home was selling for $231,000 in just 2 years. In 2 years, the people that were living in that community gained $30,000 of equity by doing nothing fancy other than just living in their home and paying their mortgage. So with that said, home investing in yourself and home ownership are one of the most important things that you can do when it comes down to you getting and gaining financial freedom. Because when you think about it, there's nothing that I have to do other than pay my mortgage while my home is going up in value. Now, mind you, all of these homes are new construction homes, of course. However, you know, that also can apply to resale homes also, depending on the type of home and the location of where you purchase your home. So that's that in regards to the whole renting piece. When it comes down to you making steps towards purchasing your home, one of the things that you also want to do is make sure that you get yourself pre-qualified. And when you get yourself pre-qualified, what you're doing now is finding out, okay, what is my buying power? If you're just running around looking for a home, going to different realtors or going to different sales center models or whatever, and just saying, hey, I'm interested in purchasing a home. If you don't have if you're not pre-qualified through your mortgage company, or pre-qualified through a specific builder, then you're just kind of running around, to be honest with you, because you don't know what your buying power is. You want to go in to a sales office educated. You want to go into the sales office prepared. And that's how you get yourself prepared. Now, when you go and you get yourself pre-qualified, then that at least gives you a roadmap of where you need to be when it comes down to purchasing your home. Say, for instance, you go and you want to get pre-qualified, and they say, hey, Antonio, there's a couple of things on your credit that we need to clean up. And now I have an idea, I have a roadmap on what needs to be done in order so that way I can be prepared when it comes down to me purchasing my home. Getting pre-qualified gives me an idea of how much buying power I can qualify for. It gives me an idea if there's any blemishes on my credit that needs to be cleaned up, so that way there are no hiccups through my home buying process. All of these different things are key things that come up when you get yourselves pre-qualified. Now, after you get yourself, let's say you go through the pre-qualification process, and you say, well, I'm not sure where I want to be at. One of the things are you want to narrow down where you want to be at. Central Florida is a very transient area. So you can live in Orlando, or you can work in Orlando, but live in Davenport. Or you can work in Orlando and live in Claremont or Groveland or on the east side of Orlando. So because of how Orlando has grown and developed, you can live on the outskirts of Orlando and still commute and get to your job at the average commute time is about 35 to 45 minutes. So you can live on the outskirts of Orlando and make that commute easily. So the reason that I speak to living on the outskirts of Orlando, because Orlando is such prime real estate to where the cost to rent is extremely expensive. The cost to even purchase a home is extremely expensive. So living on the outskirts gives people an opportunity to get their feet wet, get themselves in a home. And then also from there, it gives them an opportunity to start slowly building their family's wealth. After you get yourself pre-qualified, then the home process is fairly simple. What I specialize in is new home sales. I do single family homes as well as townhomes for a company called Ashton Woods. And we have a division called Starlight Homes that specializes in new construction homes, but also for first-time home buyers. We have single family homes, but we also have townhomes now that we are marketing now. So in my townhouse community, which is called Madison Place, which is located just on the outskirts of Orlando, right off of 27 in Davenport, Florida. Just to give you an example, I talked about equity earlier. Just to give you an example, we opened up February 29th this year, or let's just say March 1st, we opened up. From March 1st, the townhomes were 180, 185. Right now, we're selling these same townhomes for $207,000, $207,000. So that tells you right there how the market is going, even with the whole COVID situation. The one thing that has changed are the interest rates. Now, I just want to touch on one thing in regards to what I was just sharing with you, equity. So the people that moved in March 1st, now they're sitting on about $20,000 worth of equity, and they haven't done anything other than pay their mortgage. So that would be an example of what I'm talking about when it comes down to investing in yourself, being a homeowner, and taking advantage of these insanely low interest rates. Right now, we're putting people in a home for interest rates as low as 2.75%. We have promotions that we just were doing that you can get into your home at the first year for only 1.75%. So we have insane promotions right now when it comes down to interest rates. So I definitely strongly urge, if you're looking to get into a home, if you're looking to get yourself established, stop throwing your money away renting and invest in yourself and start the process for becoming a homeowner. You don't have to get the perfect home at the very beginning. Get you something that's just going to at least allow you to stop throwing your money away. And then that way you can take that same investment and little bit by little bit, make baby steps into putting yourself in a better situation so that way you can get into the home that you want to be in. So I think that's pretty much it in a nutshell. It's a very streamlined process. If you have any questions or if you have any anything that you'd like to ask, please do it in the chat. Or if you'd like to get in touch with me, please reach out to Ms. K. I'll be more than happy to try to help you getting into your home. We have insane incentives right now, and you know, it's in the heart of Davenport. You can't ask for a better location, and I'll be more than happy to share more with you once you reach out to me. Thank you.
Okay. Now we'll have Heather. Heather, we want you to, if you buy this house from Antonio. What you do?
I want to buy a house from Antonio right now as an investment property in Davenport, because I want to tell you guys something that he's talking about. Listen to this if you haven't listened to anything else on this call. Davenport is hot. It's a centralized location. It's less than 20 minutes from Disney, 20 minutes from Orlando. It's a centralized location. And when he's talking about what he's talking about, which is 100% true, not only are the interest rates phenomenal, but the home build price for a new home is crazy, like crazy good. Meaning these guys help you with so many incentives, you know, closing costs. They hook you up with a preferred vendor for lending. I mean, it's like everything on its best world. So Antonio, you got my thumbs up for that, because I was listening to you and I was like, man, maybe I should call Antonio about buying my next investment property. For real. So my son actually has a property out in Dundee, Florida with LGI. And I want to tell you guys something. It's been an amazing investment opportunity for him. And he's very young. He's only 26. So just leading off with that, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I'm Heather Hurry, Pillar to Post, the Jeff Mackey team, and we are a preferred vendor with Kay over at KW Legacy. And, you know, part of what we do is new home construction inspection. Now, obviously, they cater to their own inspection process as it relates to new home inspection, but, you know, pre-drywall and post-drywall are also options for you guys to look at for inspection, right, Antonio? He's shaking his head. So this is always a good opportunity to say, hey, let's walk through the property, let's find out what's going on, because just as we're humans, there are opportunities for looking at this, making sure everyone feels confident, and at the end of the day, you know, you want to make sure that the investment that you're building into is secure. So you just might want that paper copy to have with you. And something that we do that's a lot different than, actually is very unique to the industry, is when we come on site to do that home inspection, you guys, we actually print it the same day of inspection. That's crazy, right? Because you know that the first thing your buyers or your sellers, if they're doing a pre-listing inspection, they're asking you, hey, when are we going to get the report? Well, you get it the same day if you're calling Pillar to Post the Jeff Mackey team. So just know that those things are available to you as a resource. And something else we wanted to offer on the call today to Kay, just to support her and her amazing way of gathering all these awesome people, is if you guys call our office, and I put it in the chat, so don't miss it, at 407-582-9009, or you email us, you're going to get $100 off a premium or prestige package. That's huge, you guys. Because yes, thank you. Because generally when your client is calling, they want a full inspection. They want to make sure that they see infrared through the walls, make sure there's no moisture, no leaks. You know what I'm talking about? Not necessarily with new home construction as it relates to Antonio, but if you guys are looking at existing structures and you're in a multiple offer situation, you landed the deal and now you're moving through inspection, you're going to want to know and secure that everything is good with that home. Something else that we do that's really unique, and I was telling Kay about this. Sorry, my face is looking a little weird. I think it's the light. I think I'm Matrix right now. Anyway, pre-listing inspections are huge, you guys. The inventory's low, but as you get a listing, before you put it on the market, spend $300-400 with your seller and do a pre-listing inspection to make sure all 4 points are covered, the roof is good, the electrical plumbing is good, that, you know, you guys have everything you need as it relates to the full report. So the seller, or excuse me, the buyer isn't coming back 10 to 15 days into inspection asking for repairs or costs for repairs or seller concessions, and you're like, no, we already did this. It's already been discussed. It's already been addressed. So it's a really good way of, and I'm going to take this off because I feel like you guys can't see me right now and I feel silly. I want to do this so you guys can see me. Okay. So that you guys can, you know, actually take advantage of the opportunity to speak to your sellers with a sense of confidence, right? Now, listen, something about that pre-listing inspection, the sellers with permission, obviously, and making sure they authorize it, can share that with the buyer's agent. So listen, you guys, they can relay that to the buyer's agent and they're not spending another $300 to $500 on an inspection. You're disclosing, which is, that's what our business is about. right? We want to make sure everything is on the up and up. So the last thing I want to leave you with, and this has been a big thing, Kay, and I'm sure that you would agree, just working in the office and dealing with your typical day-to-day activity with buyers or sellers, is they're like, what is your availability? It's crazy, you guys. The market is crazy. So if you call us, I can guarantee you we won't say no, number one. So that's huge. We will try to fit you in within a day or two, hopefully within that same week. If you have a 5-day or 7-day inspection period, you need to vocalize it to us so we can accommodate you. A lot of companies don't do that. They're just like, sorry, if it's not available, we can help you. But we don't want to do that. We are very dedicated to our KW Legacy agents. We want to make sure you're getting priority service. We're a red carpet company. We come with a mat at the front door. We set up chairs for the buyers. We give them water. We make sure we walk through the inspection with them before they leave. We're COVID ready. Mask, booties, sanitation throughout the whole house. I mean, this stuff is important. If you guys are utilizing Kay as a realtor, you're extending yourself, you want to make sure that you're relaying the same message of integrity to your client, right? Thumbs up?
Thank
So
you.
I'm just saying, we absolutely adore your business. We appreciate just even being able to be here tonight. Just saying a few words as it relates to home inspection. It's so important. I put my contact information in there. Call me at any point. Kay is just been phenomenal at referring to us and recommending us. We truly appreciate it. And especially for first-time home buyers, because we understand their concerns. We understand their levels of questions, and we want to make sure that they're comfortable, right? So
Right.
thank you so much, Kay.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Antonio and Yvette. You guys are amazing.
All right.
Hey, this is Denise. Before you get started, there's a couple more people who joined the webinar. Thank you for joining. Welcome. I just put I just copied a link in the chat feature. If you could just select that link and then do our pre-test for us, that would be awesome. If you could just select the pre-test, click on it, put your first and last name, and then submit. There's only 5 questions. We really appreciate it. And then we want to make sure that we're answering all of the questions to our panelists. So if there are questions, please make sure that they're answered. If they're not, and if you have any questions, please feel free to put it in the Q&A feature. We have wonderful experts here who wants to assist you. So please make sure that all of your questions are answered. So please add your questions to the Q&A. And again, you should see a link for the pre-test. If those of you who just joined, and if you haven't filled out that pre-test, please fill that out. If you have any questions about the pre-test, please let me know. Oh, you don't see it. Okay, thank you for letting me know that. I will put that in again. And again, this is Denise. This is just a brief interruption. I will turn myself off and you guys can continue with the program. Thank you.
Miss Yvette? Oh, you got to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Okay, sorry about that. How's everyone doing today? Thank you so much, Kay, and everyone else for inviting me to talk about insurance. My name's Yvette Register. I'm a State Farm insurance agent. My office is 1716 West Colonial in between John Young and Orange Blossom Trail. And I'm going to see if I could do a share my screen and do my presentation, if that's okay with you.
Perfect.
Now let me see how I can advance. Sorry about that. Let me try one more time. Okay, so what we're going to go over first with insurance is what is covered. And what is covered, first of all, is your property, which is your house. That includes the home, the other structures, such as a detached garage or a shed. The other things that's included in your property would be your possessions or your contents. And that would be such as all of your furniture, your clothing, electronics, anything that's of value inside of your house is not attached to the house. The next thing that is covered with insurance is the liability. So that's a big deal. You know, the liability will protect you against lawsuits. So in certain situations, State Farm is able to help protect you for paying the damages that could result of something that you're legally liable for. And let me just give you one example. One example would be, let's say you had a dog and it bit somebody. A lot of insurers don't cover dogs. We do. So the example would be, let's say the dog bit someone and they got disfigured and they had to go to the hospital and have all kinds of reconstruction surgery, and you got sued. You would be protected up to your liability limit. So that's very important. Or children, we're responsible for our kids. Let's say they got into a fight at school and the parents of the other child wanted to sue you. That's where we would come into play to represent you for what we're legally liable for. All right. And then there are other costs that the policy could cover, such as removal of damage after a loss, temporary repairs that you had to do because of a loss, and extra expenses such as loss of use, whether you have to stay somewhere else because there has been a hurricane. So that is what is covered. Let me just see next. The next one, what's not covered. So here are some examples of what's not covered. Flood is not covered. A lot of people think like, oh my gosh, I thought it was covered. No, that's an extra policy that you have to pay for. It's a national federal program. And if you're in a flood zone, your mortgage company will let you know that you have to secure flood insurance. But you may want to get flood insurance regardless of if you're in a flood zone or not, because no matter where we are, we're all susceptible to flood. Just know that flood is the water coming in from all of the sides of the outside of the house. That's not covered. Earthquake, we are on a fault here in Florida. A lot of people don't realize that there is an endorsement that you could buy that back. So a lot of the examples of what's not covered, we have to look for what can be purchased back through an endorsement. And then let's see, intentional injury of property damage, that is not covered also. So the next thing on an insurance policy, what you need to be concerned about is the deductible. So there are fixed or percentage. Okay, so the deductible is the amount you are responsible for when you file a claim. So an example, a fixed deductible would be like a $500 deductible. That's a flat deductible. Or a percentage is a 1% or a 2%. After Hurricane Andrew, that changed the face of insurance. So now we have a all other peril deductible. And then we also have a hurricane deductible, which normally is 2% of your dwelling amount. Okay, so it would be 2%. If your house was $100,000, it would be 2% of that. So that's what the deductible takes care of. And what I recommend is, hurricane deductibles can be pricey. Let's say if you had a $2,000 hurricane deductible, a lot of people say at the time of loss, wow, where am I going to get that money? So I just recommend that you set aside each month, you start saving a little bit for a deductible. Okay, so insurance and your closing. It's my job to get you ready for the closing. Kay and everybody else, Antonio and Heather, have gotten you prepared. you come to me for the quote. And what we'll do is we'll ask about the details of the home, the amount of coverage that is needed, the home alerts, any multi-line discounts. You're going to need a 4-point inspection. You'll need that 4-point inspection because we have
I'm
to
like,
make
that's
sure.
me. That's me. Sorry.
That's right. That's Heather. So see how closely we all work together. This is one big happy family.
One big
So the
family.
4-point inspection, the mortgage information, and we need the closing date. And what we will do is a replacement cost calculator, which means we'll ask you about all of the features of the home. But if you have an appraisal, you can give us the appraisal and we can take the replacement cost information off of the appraisal. Okay, so those are the things we look for, and we will be able to provide you with a quote, and we can give that to you to provide to we'll work directly with the lending company. After the closing, they will send us the check, and then we will apply that to your policy, and you're all taken care of. What I recommend here is that you think about, there's 3 things, and I call it a triangle of protection. So we're going to protect your home. And keep in mind, your home is like one of your biggest investments. And so you don't want to like try to skip and skimp on the type of coverage that you have. And I see it all the time. People will say, oh, that's too much for the insurance. Oh, that's too much. But you know, with everything, you get what you pay for. You know, you have access to your agent 24/7. We have coverages like I mentioned, the dog bite claims. There are a lot of other things that we cover that a lot of other insurance companies don't cover. But I want you to be happy. So if you find something that's somewhere that's less, that's fine. I just want you to be covered. But we do handle all of our claims. We pay what we owe. We're financially stable. So I just like to say that. And the other thing is, so we protected your house. I like to call it a triangle of protection. You need life insurance and you need disability to go with it. And Kay can attest to this. I was speaking with a customer. We provided information for the home and life insurance, and it was declined. And guess what? She's no longer here. I want to be able to tell your family, yes, I talked to her or him about life insurance, homeowners insurance, and disability, because the disability is like protecting the goose that lays the golden egg. You are the geese out there and you working, that's the golden egg. So we want to protect you, which is the most important thing. Okay, so there's extra coverages that you may need. And I talked about life insurance, disability. A personal umbrella policy will protect you if you become sued. Somebody wants to sue you, let's say you're in somebody comes and jumps in your pool and they drown and they sue you above your $100,000 minimum limits. The umbrella is going to reach in and help take up the rest of that amount. So that's $1 million. You need to think about it. And I'm not saying you get it all at once, but it's my job to plant the seed and educate you on that. So if you have business in the home, that's something different. You'll need coverage for that. There's fraud and lots of other coverages. Make sure you talk with your agent and explain all of the things that you are involved in so they can help you make the best decisions. Okay, so I just wanted to go over all of that. That was a quick synopsis. But it's very important that, like everybody else said, you find a professional, and Kay said that you want to work with, and that they will have your best interests at heart. It is always about the customer's needs, not our needs. It's like we help you to make sure we protect your dreams. So here's my address. My phone number is 407-841-8257. And I could be found out at evetteregister.com, and I will be glad to help you, and you can let me know if you have any questions.
Well, thank you. Very much. I just was missing my Sherika, my lender. Um, Tell me, what are you seeing when people come out to you, Antonio, and they're not pre-approved? What are you doing about their credit? What are you telling them they need to do?
Great question, Ms. K. So a lot of times if somebody don't have the credit that they need to qualify, what I do is so let me just start by saying this. When people come to see me, my goal is to help you get into a home. So one of the first steps to helping you get into a home is finding out exactly what your buying power is and finding out what your credit score is. You don't know where you're going unless you have a roadmap to get there. So with that said, by us looking at your credit score, it tells us where we are and what we need to do to get you where we need to get you. So you can't be afraid to get yourself pre-qualified. And I always tell people that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that everywhere you go, you want to get yourself pre-qualified,
Right.
but you want to get yourself pre-qualified so at least you can have an idea of what your buying power is, and then also take it from there. Now, if you don't have the qualifications to get a home at that time, then we have different programs and people that we refer you to who will help get your credit where it needs to be. Now, there are some credit repair companies that's out there that are not geared towards helping you, and all they do is they basically drag what I call drag the carrot, where they say, oh, well, yeah, we can get your credit fixed 6 months, a year, 2 years, and your credit is in the same place. So you want to be conscious of that. And I have a couple of people. I have one specific person who I use specifically. And if you're interested, or if you feel that you have some credit issues that you want to repair your credit and get your credit in a better place before you start moving forward on your home search, definitely reach out to me. I left my information and my email address in the link in the chat, so you can scroll through that, get my email address, and definitely reach out to me, and I'd love to do whatever I can do to help you. But definitely, you know, it's all about if you have some issues or some blemishes, what I call it, on your credit, then, you know, it takes a little bit of time. It doesn't happen overnight, let's just say. And I can give a testament, you know, for what I've went through. I remember my credit score used to be in the 500s at one point, but I said, hey, I want to purchase a home. I want to get myself in a position to where I can build my own home. So I started working on my credit. I went and got myself pre-qualified, even though I knew I wasn't trying to purchase a home at that time, but I at least found out where I was and what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to be at. And so now I'm in a position to where I'm purchasing a lot to build my own home. So that's where I'm at now. And now my credit score is in the 700s. So, and mind you, that was all of a 6 month period of time. So depending on exactly where your credit is, sometimes it's simple things like, hey, all we need to do is just get you some other what we call trade lines, positive trade lines, to help boost up your credit. Some people may just need to get on someone else's, get pre-qualified. Some other people may just need to do things such as get credit cards in their name to help establish their credit. So it just all depends on that situation for that person, what avenue we need to take to get you and get your credit where it needs to be so we can get you in a home.
Can you tell us any updates on new communities coming up in Orlando? I know I put you on the spot. I know it. You don't have to. I don't want to. I know it.
So we do have new communities that are coming up in the Orlando area. Miss K, you are a mess. But yes, we do have communities that are townhouse community, as a matter of fact, that's coming up in Orlando. But the expected time for that won't be until like the end of this year, beginning of next year. We have quite a few new communities. One, Madison Place, which is in Davenport, Florida. We have not a townhouse, but a single family home in Davenport also. We also have a community over in Lake Nona area called Sunbrook. We have communities up in the Deltona area called Fernanda. So we have a variety of different communities throughout the Orlando area. So it's just a matter of you kind of reaching out and figuring out what location you want to be in. And we'll do what we need to do to get you in your home. We have a community over in Groveland, which I call West Claremont, because it's right there by the turnpike. So don't think that it's way out of your way, because you're right there by the turnpike with the community. So it gives you easy access to the community, from the community to get on to the turnpike. And if you work in Orlando, it gives you, easy access to get into Orlando.
And Antonio, do you have duplexes? Are there any duplexes being built in the area?
So, not through Starlight or Ashton Woods. We don't do duplexes. But we do have like the single family homes and the townhomes.
Okay.
Great question.
Do we have any questions from the audience?
Now, can I also touch on one of the things that Yvette was saying earlier?
Yes.
So one of the things that you were sharing with everyone earlier that I think is key is that going cheap on insurance does not benefit you. When it comes down to you trying to get a home, this is one of the largest investments that you will ever make in your life. So yes, you don't want to go out and spend $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 for a home and then get the cheapest insurance that you can possibly, get the cheapest insurance. So you want to make sure that you have the best coverage to cover the home that you're purchasing. So don't try to take the cheap way out by just getting, the bare minimum to cover your home. You want to make sure that you protect your investment.
Thank you. Thank you. That just builds credibility. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I think the people who were on this Zoom, they got a great amount of information that will help them make better decisions when it comes to purchasing their new homes. They know about the insurance, and just having someone like Antonio who knows the community, and he can help you get a home. He can help you with your credit. He knows someone who can help you with your credit. So if there are any other questions, let us know. Put it in the chat.
Okay, this is Denise. There was a question that LaShonda asked about. Can you or one of your panelists answer her question? Do you see that?
Okay, let me see. I don't see it. What is the question?
So LaShonda's question is, what about your job loss due to COVID-19 and changing jobs? Previously, I attended the first-time home buyers program, and I was told you had to be in your job for 2 years or 2 years in the same field.
I can touch on that if y'all don't mind.
Right. Did you answer that?
Okay. So no, it doesn't require you. If you, a lot of people, let me just stress, a lot of people have been affected with their jobs because of this whole COVID-19 thing. A lot of people, we understand as new home sales people, new home builders, as well as the mortgage company, that people have been on furlough or people have lost their jobs. Now with that, what you don't want to do is let 6 months pass without you working because by you doing that, that means you have to wait 2 years now before you can even qualify to get a home. So with that, what you want to do, if you are coming up on those 6 months of being unemployed or not working, you want to get back in the game. You want to get back in the saddle and get back working. And as long as it's close to the same field, a lot of times there have been situations where someone may have been in one field and now is back working, but they're working in a completely different field. A lot of times there are different ways around that. So don't let that discourage you from still trying to move forward to becoming a homeowner. I specifically have dealt with a lot of clients that have come back now from working, from dealing with this whole Corona or this COVID-19 thing. And we've been able to help get them in a home. So even though all this COVID-19 stuff has been happening, we are still selling homes like hotcakes. I hope that answers the question from earlier.
LaShonda, if you can let us know if that answered your question. And then Kay, we have some questions in the chat.
Okay. What will you consider a fair credit score? And is it okay to get a credit card before you get pre-approved to help boost your credit? My normal, I'd like to stay in my lane. A normal person, Sherika, would answer that. What will you consider I would say a fair credit score would be in the 700s, but you can get a house at 640. What is it now, Antonio?
Very true, Ms. Kay. So we're helping people get into a home as low as a 580, right?
Oh.
But with you having a 580, you have to have your down payment money because you don't qualify for any financing programs. Now, of course, the higher that your score, the more opportunity that you have when it comes down to you getting into a home, when it comes down to financing, and then also when it comes down to your interest rate. Right now, the interest rates are at an all-time low. So now would be the best time to take advantage of getting yourself in a home, because the interest rates are like insanely low. So if you can have your score 640 or above, then you're in a sweet spot. If you have it in the 700s, you're in an even sweeter spot. But just understand, if your score is a 580, but you have the down payment money that you need, move forward and get your home, and then refinance in a year, and then you'll get a lower interest rate. So there are a variety of different avenues that you can take when it comes down to you having becoming a homeowner.
What are things you can't have on your credit when buying a house?
Great question. So I just had, let's just use for an example, I had a client who just had a foreclosure on their home in January, but they came and they were looking to try to purchase a home. So we went through the home buying process. I got them pre-qualified. I went through the pre-qualification process, let's just say. And then with that, that's where I discovered that he had a foreclosure on his home that had just taken place in January. So I explained to him that, hey, it's going to take you about 2 to 3 years before you're able to purchase a home again. But in the meantime, during that time, use that time to start saving your money, but also use that time to start reestablishing your credit. But I mean, in regards to going through a lot of specifics, you know, there are certain things that can't be on your credit. If you have, let's say, a lot of late car payments, those are things that affect you. Late credit card payments, anything that deals with your month-to-month debts or your debts such as credit cards, car payment, student loans. Let me just touch on the whole student loan thing. We have a lot of people that have student loans that may come into the office and want to purchase a home, but I want you to hear me, but think that your student loan is in forbearance. Even if you think your student loan is in forbearance, I recommend that you turn around and you get yourself on some type of payment plan. Even if you're paying $10, $20, people lose $20 a week. So even if you can come up with a plan to where you're only paying $20 a month towards your student loans, do that. Don't just let your student loans sit there and you say, oh, it's in forbearance. Because what tends to happen is if you don't, then what happens is that they have to take like 1% of whatever your student loan is versus them taking the payment that you've been paying over the last couple of years. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I'm sure that helps someone. Hopefully they'll come up with something to help people who have that problem with the student loans.
So I see you asked the question about when's the next online first-time homebuyers class. We have not scheduled that yet. We will look into doing that probably within the next couple of months.
Anyway, I would like to say thank you to everybody, Westlakes and Yvette and Antonio and Miss Denise and Latricia. I appreciate this. I really wanted to do it at the office, but unfortunately this COVID happened and it just threw me off. But I'm glad we had this available to us.
And Kay, you have a couple more questions.
Okay.
And both the Q&A and the chat feature. And Antonio, if you can put your contact information in the Q&A.
How far back does a lender look into your credit? See, that was a question for Sharika. Antonio, how far back? Let me see. I guess he can't hear me.
Antonio's muted.
Oh, okay. How far back would a lender look into your credit?
I'm trying to get his attention.
Antonio, please.
Trying to patch them up and bring them over there and find places.
I'm sorry, you have a question for me?
How far back does a lender look into your credit?
So a lender looks, so when it comes down to, so that's, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not a loan officer by no means, but I can answer that question. If you email me, I can find out that question.
Antonio, before you put yourself on mute, can you put your contact information in the Q&A feature, please?
Absolutely.
And Kay, there's another question in the Q&A.
Okay, Anton, please. Okay, late fees. What are things you can't have on your credit when buying a house? I guess car repossessions, unless you try to pay it off. Different collections, I think, would be a factor in getting approved to purchase a home. I I personally just try to stay. I try to find the house for you, and I let the lender get the money situation straight. And
Okay.
I try to find classes for you to take to get down payment assistance. That's very important. One of the lenders, she can get you up to 25,000, and hopefully just email us and I'll get that information to you.
And there's another question for you, Kay.
Okay. How? Okay. Please. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. What will you can? Okay. Hello, everyone. I have 2 questions. What? Could you read it for me? Because I don't see it.
Yes, it says, how long does this process takes being pre-approved, etc.?
Okay. It just depends on finding the house. It just varies. I can get a pre-approval that day and find the house the next day, and it might take up to 30 days before the whole process is closed. But I have seen it done faster. Haven't you, Antonio? I've seen it home closed within a lot less than 30 days.
Yeah, so when it comes down to you trying to purchase your home, it really depends on the buyer. The more that you have your paperwork organized and put together, the easier the process is, because the biggest challenge is you getting all your documents together. So you need your bank statements, you need your paycheck stubs, you need your last 2 years of your income taxes. So those are the different things that they look at when it comes down to you qualifying financially.
Okay. Anything else?
Hi,
Yes.
everyone.
Hey. That's Pam. She's another realtor that works with me.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late to the party.
Well, we're just glad you're here and available.
Thank you.
What have you been seeing out in, are people still buying homes, or has COVID affected the purchase of homes?
Absolutely. The market is extremely hot right now. This is the perfect time for anyone that's ready to buy or to sell. Everything is moving fast. The interest rates are at an all-time low. So it's really great. This is the perfect time.
Kay, I have a question, and I'm not sure which one of you can answer this. I've been seeing a lot of home warranty commercials, from those different companies. What is it? Home Shield, something warranty. How does that fit into someone having a home? And I know older people, like my parents, they always had that Sears warranty repair, which is very expensive. But do you guys deal with that type of stuff, or do people ask about that?
Yes. You want to explain, Pam?
Sure. I always try to get my buyers a home warranty. I like to use First American Home Warranty because First American Home Warranty will pay to replace the AC unit versus the other ones that will pay partial or it's not included. So a home warranty, especially for a first-time home buyer, is always a great added addition, especially if you can add it to the contract for the sellers to purchase that. But right now, it's not a great time with everything being so competitive. When you're going up against multiple offers right now, you kind of don't want to include that, but a home warranty is perfect, especially for a first-time home buyer. Because it covers everything. It covers your plumbing. It covers electrical, AC, washer, dryer, all of these things that you may come upon. and you don't have the extra money for it, it's perfect. You have a $75, excuse me, copay that you have to pay. And after that, they'll take care of everything.
So is that only for new homes or is that for existing homes as well?
Existing homes as well. Doesn't matter how old the house is or how new it is. It's for any home. It doesn't matter.
Okay, thank you. I've been seeing a lot of the commercials, so I thought, let me ask about that. Okay.
It's great. It's great, especially if you have an older home. It works perfectly for older homes because you're going to run into maybe other issues, especially like with your appliances and things like that.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you all. Mhm.
But thank you.
Hey, there's a question about the home buyers class that you mentioned. Can you repeat what you said about that?
Well, because of this pandemic, a lot of banks and companies have cut back on the home buyers classes because, and they're going online because we can't meet the way we normally met because you have to be there for a couple of hours and get a certain certification. But now things are changing, and I believe they're bringing them back, but just in a different format, just like we're doing the Zoom. I'm assuming that's how it's going to have to happen now. I think people are still, making decisions on how they're going to do it, and the financing of these down payment programs. Have you heard anything, Pam, on the different classes?
Not really. No, not recently, especially with COVID.
And Denise, I did speak with Help CDC today, so we can talk about that tomorrow because, of course, they are looking at doing one, but of course, it will be done on Zoom.
Okay.
And I know Denise Weathers, she conducts the first time home buyer seminars. I participated in one with her. So I can get you her information and you can get it to your participants, okay, Kay?
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I have thoroughly enjoyed this.
It was nice. Very nice.
I just, my Linda didn't show up, but I got another Linda, Carol. So were there any other questions?